Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
All right, everybody, it's Tom Foster here in the Foster Web Marketing World of Marketing. And I have a very special guest from the design world. So we've got Johnathan. I'm going to love it. Grzybowski. No, I didn't. Did I get it right?
You got it. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I did it. I did it.
Yeah,
All right. All right. And Johnathan is with Penji.co. And I'm going to go ahead and show the website here. And you guys, here we are. This is it. You guys do designs. And this is for, really, you don't want to do your own designs. You don't have your own design team. They can turn to you and your team to get design work done. Outsource your graphic design work, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We would like to say it's like a new way of outsourcing your graphic design. A lot of times if people have been burned by graphic designers, by freelancers, hiring, HR, all that fun stuff. So this is like a new way to think about how to outsource your graphic design.
So how do you mean like a new way? Like explain that to me.
Well, a lot of the traditional approaches of outsourcing graphic design requires lengthy contracts, agreements, NDAs, and these timely processes. In addition to that, there's the back and forth between you, a freelancer, you and your designer. It's good to hire a designer that could be range anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000 to $70,000 a year, who knows? But there's a quadrant of this world that don't have the funds to do that. There's also another quadrant of the world that need a designer on staff at all times and have overflow work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So rather than hiring another person or bringing somebody on and going through this HR, taxes, and all this other fun stuff, let us manage that. You hire us for a very brief and small monthly rate, and we deal with everything for you. You receive the graphic design in under 48 hours, and you have a whole team. So we have over 100 graphic designers on staff. They're all staffed for us. They're not freelancers. And you can kind of pick and choose who you're looking for. So if one designer doesn't work out, well, that's fine. You pick another one. If you wanted a Swiss Army knife of graphic designers, we can literally do any form of graphic design that you'd like.
And it looks like you guys have worked with a lot of reputable companies.
Yeah, we were definitely blessed in that regard. So I think that's probably one of the strongest things is in our growth of our company. In the very beginning, we always had a foundation of working with really cool companies. We had some really awesome and interesting sales processes that allowed us to get that. But companies like Tide, Forbes, and a whole bunch of others, Express, Kohl's, Reebok, we've been working directly with these people. And they were kind of like the foundational and cornerstone pieces of our original customer base. So I want to add one more thing to that. Sure. Even though the companies are really cool that we're working with, to be perfectly honest, the one thing I love about Penji is that regardless of your financial status, whether you're a big company or whether you're a very small mom and pop shop, we treat you the same way. So before the world of marketing, you always get a preferential treatment because of the name. But we strip that away as a business because we just treat you as the human being and as the person. And we don't necessarily look at the designs. We see you as like a binary. You want a logo, then you will get a logo. You want an infographic, you're getting an infographic. And our job is to deliver the best quality work regardless of what your financial status or name or whatever it is.
That's cool. And so you said in the beginning that you kind of match it up. So if the first designer doesn't work out, you'll find a better match.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really important too. The whole idea of graphic design is it's like a marriage to some degree. You kind of have to like
totally
get through the little awkward stages of the honeymoon maybe, and then hunker down and then be able to assess like who's the right fit. And that's kind of the process that we have too. So first 15, 30 days is just figuring it out. Once we find it, then we move on and we have that team, that core group of people, and you just constantly work with those individuals.
So tell me a little bit about that process. Give me a kind of an example of how that relationship works. So let's say, for instance, I started one, we obviously do websites, but we also, I see that you do like a lot more than that, print and everything else. So how would you, because we do websites, but we also do newsletters and we do books. We do collateral, print collateral of all various kinds. How would you work with somebody like me?
Yeah. So essentially what you would do is you would sign up for Penji. You would get paired with an account manager. The account manager's job is to become the quarterback in order to assess your success. You submit a project. It goes to a person that specializes in that particular thing. We do website design. We do logos. We do books, and we do banners and all that other fun stuff. Once you get paired with that person, you tell us whether you like it or not. If you like it, then we start to learn. If you don't, we remove and we replace you with another person. It all is delivered within and under 48 hours. So we're constantly churning things out. And we have this really reliable software that you can communicate with. So you can actually log on to Penji and communicate directly with your designer and your account manager. And you can also do something that's really cool, which is we have a point and click revision tool. So for example, if you have a website and the website is very lengthy in terms of like information, if you don't like the header, or if maybe something is spelled wrong, you can take your mouse and with pinpoint accuracy, tell us exactly what you want changed, rather than sending a complex and convoluted message to your designer or email back and forth, the chain of emails going 20 things long, just trying to change one line on a header.
Which can be very frustrating.
Very frustrating.
A lot of
absolutely.
people, obviously that's why you made that. A lot of people just give up and say,
exactly.
Yeah, good.
And from an agency perspective, you're paying for that time in order to have that back and forth to reassess. And so if that designer, for the agency agreement, you're adding more hours and it costs a lot of money at the end of the year. If you're able to just take your mouse and click on it and say, this is what I'm looking for, then obviously the revision is going to take significantly less amount of time. So that's a very brief example of ways that we can work with companies.
So tell me about like, how many projects do you work with people? Like how long? So if somebody comes in for like a web project, do you like end up working on a bunch of different ones and have that extend out, or do you just wait and get like, okay, well, what's the next one? Or do you reach out to them and say, well, we have these other things that we can do. If, for instance, if I came to you and say, here's a book I want to do, like here's just this simple book that I have, Johnathan. And then do you guys take this and say, well, let's make this out of it. Are you suggestive, or you just kind of do what you're told?
So it was more so do as we're told, because at our price point, which is around $400 essentially, you're getting the design of you're getting the quality.
Per project, or is that like a license kind of thing?
That is actually per month. So
Wow.
so per month it is around $400, where you can submit as many graphic designs as you want. Your price point at that point isn't necessarily there as an agency. So we're different from an agency, and we're different from like a freelancer. So we will do as we're told, and it's expected upon you to deliver what you want. But we're not going to, where agencies excel is the strategy. So we're kind of like the balance, and believe it or not, our most successful customers are agencies, because they do
I was
the
about
strategy.
to say, you're kind of what agencies would work with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So agencies work perfectly with us because they do the strategy, but more often than not, they don't have the resources to actually do the graphic design. Then we come through and we deliver and execute for them.
So what would you say are some of your most successful designs that you guys are the most proud of?
To be perfectly honest, the ones that make an impact, and I know that's a very vague and subjective thing, but there isn't like a specific category, because we have over 100 designers. We have thousands of customers. So it's a little bit different than like, we're really good at logos, we're really, really good at web design. We have literally hundreds of designers. So we can't pinpoint one specific thing. But I think the ones that I'm personally most proud of is the ones that like the customer actually says that words like this is effing awesome or something like that. Like that to me is really valuable because that's real-time feedback that you're able to obtain. And we can see that in our platform. You can give that kudos directly to your designer. And even if you think it effing sucks, you can say that too. Obviously we'll figure out how to fix it, but those are the ones that make the most impact on me specifically.
I like this one review on here that you have that you put on your website, quite transparent, which I think is fantastic, which is, from Daniel, which was, he was like wanting to talk to you on the phone or whatever. And you guys are like, it's a, you know, because you have your software and all that stuff. But then the designs were so fantastic, and you ended up kind of working through whatever frustration he had, and he ended up giving you 5 stars. I think ultimately, obviously, the design work is what matters the most, right?
Yeah, well, I would say, yeah, I would say maybe like 60-40. I think more people would be okay with a mediocre graphic design if the experience is exceptional. If you feel like you're being, and this is not for us, but this is for every business, if you feel like you're being heard, if you feel like you're being listened to and people genuinely care about you, I think that goes a long way. And I think from a business perspective and like a life lesson, people would be more willing to give you a second or third or fourth try. Not that the design is bad, but if you're able to listen to them and make them feel like they're heard, people in general will be able to be a little bit more transparent and listen to you.
Where do you get your designers from?
A couple of ways. So we started off in the city of Camden, New Jersey, which is it's one of the most dangerous cities in America. And we actually took graphic designers and talent from a local nonprofit that we partner with. So our foundation and core was built off of helping our community, and then transitioned into something a little bit more than that. And so we have designers in Camden, in Philadelphia, on the West Coast, Central America, Europe, and also Asia.
Is this your company, Johnathan?
I'm one of the co-founders, yes.
So tell me why you did this. Why did you do it?
Well,
tell me the story.
Yeah, sure. So we used to be a digital marketing agency, almost identical to what you guys do now. And we realized that after working with all these people and doing all these things, we weren't necessarily doing things that made us happy. And so at the end of the day, what we were trying to do is make a larger impact in the world and society. But what we found out is the best way to do that is to create a solution that a wide spread of people can enjoy. And so we're delivering websites for that particular person, for that university, and we're never seeing the end result of that particular design. But now what we're able to do is actually be able to see things from a global standpoint and not just help one university or one small business. We're able to help thousands upon thousands of people. And for us, it's a larger impact throughout the world.
That's cool. So what is the end game here? What is the ultimate goal?
Well, that's a hard question, really.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I think the end goal would probably be us, 2 things. Number one, people using us as a verb or more of like in a sentence.
Call Penji, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like the way Google has become.
Right.
But then the other aspect would be us being a reliable solution for graphic designers before before a pandemic and after that. So just like a reliable, easy to use graphic design service.
What is Penji? Where did that name come from?
That is something that I wish that I could tell you, but unfortunately only 3 people in the world know.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Are you one of them?
I am. Yeah.
And it's a super secret story. So you got to be on the inside to know that. You got to, right?
Listen, money talks. I'll be more than happy to. No, I'm just kidding. My co-founder, myself, my co-founder, actually 4 people now. Myself, my co-founder, our other founding member, and one of our graphic designers, one of our senior graphic designers, was the one person that figured it out, but we never told her that she figured it out.
Ah, that's good.
So she doesn't know that
She doesn't know
we
if
know.
she's right. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
That's cool. Well, I think this is a great thing. I think that what you're doing is a great thing, and it's also not only for an agency that has a need for because we need this. I mean, as you know, we currently work with one of your competitors, but I'm going to ask them to start giving you guys a chance and get some projects sent your way as well. But also for other designers, there's a lot of designers out there that are looking for a home, right? And
Absolutely.
they don't have the business acumen or skill to market themselves or grow their business, and that way they can come to you and have a home and show off their creative talent and get fed some business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So a couple of things to that. It's hard in order to pass the test. We like to say that we hire the top 2% of graphic designers in the world. So if you send a resume and you need work, we want to work with you. We're actually about to launch a very interesting campaign in the coming weeks in order to work with more small businesses, which is essentially a pay as you wish. During this time of pandemic, it's going to be incredibly hard in order to make ends meet. So if you can afford $1, then so be it. If you can afford a little bit more, we'd be gracious enough to take that too. We're trying to adapt with how the world is going.
Sure.
And we believe that this solution is the future of graphic design. And we're excited to be able to see what comes out of it. I hope a lot of businesses survive this time, but also understanding that there's a strong chance that a lot of them that will not be able to. And unfortunately, the graphic designers, or at least the marketing budget, is always the first to get cut.
It's so true.
And we hope that we can employ more people, provide really good work to our community, but also just be able to be there for our customers and kick ass for them.
Well, you said it. I mean, like, we're going through nothing, we've never experienced anything like this in our lifetime. And we're at the beginning of it. And, it's never going to go back to the way it was. There'll be a new normal after this. You're 100% right about that. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses, especially restaurants and bars and, nail salons and barbershops and hair salons, and a lot of those places are going to suffer and probably not be able to survive. If they're smart, they will come back, and they will just be, they'll come back again once the world opens up again.
Mm-hmm.
But, you said it. Unfortunately, many businesses, and I don't agree with it, but many businesses, their biggest budget is marketing, and that's the first thing that they stop doing, which is a huge mistake, no matter what. And now there's a lot of people, everybody, we're all sitting at home. I'm coming, you're home, Connie's home. I'm coming from my home office here, home studio. I've been doing these podcasts from my home studio. Fortunately, I have this set up, but, we're not stopping. And, when the world opens up again, there's 2, 3, 4 month lead time of marketing, and we're not missing a beat. And so I don't recommend anybody stop marketing. As a matter of fact, you should be doing more of it right now. And especially, anything through email and through social media and through direct mail, all those things that you touch. And the better the design, the more attention that you're going to get. You need to slice through all the nonsense that's going on. People are going to get tired of hearing about, we're already tired of hearing about it. And so you need to be creative, and you need to slice through all of that and get people's attention in a positive way. And so I applaud your efforts.
Thanks.
Keep it going. Good job on your entrepreneurial effort. How long has this been going? How long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this for about 3 years. My entrepreneur career. I'm 31. I started at 23. So this is the only job that I've ever really had was this and all the other businesses prior to. I want to add one thing though, because I think
Please.
we need to stress this. I can't stress. You can't stress it enough, and I can't stress it enough. Is the ability to adapt or die. Right now, you have the opportunity that if you're not marketing, you're dying. And so even though we're outside of our homes, you're in your home, you have a really nice background. I have an ugly background, but we're still talking, and I don't give a crap about what's back there. What I do care about is the conversation that's being had. So real meaningful relationships can be had and marketing can be done. You just have to be willing to get to go around the fear and be able to do something that might be a little bit unconventional. Those are the companies that are actually going to live this, and the ones that don't are just going to be left in the dust. And you know, when you cry about it 2 or 3 years later, you have to look at yourself. What was I doing during this quarantine life? And if you made the most of it, then awesome. If you gave it everything you got, awesome. If you're sitting on your butt watching Netflix and eating chips all the time, that's your own problem.
Unless you're watching Tiger King. All
True.
right. That's the best.
Then you can do that anytime you want.
100%. I told like businesses need to pivot. They need to pivot. Every business, no matter what it is, you know, like as a matter of fact, my personal trainer, who's like basically sunk. I'm like, you're not sunk. You need to do Zoom training. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, people need you to be yelling at them and you need to hold them accountable. There's no reason why you can't do exactly what we're doing, personal training. So
100%
back on track doing that. You know, there's ideas for everybody to do this, you know, chiropractors, podiatrists, you know, doctors, you know, you have supplements to sell. You could sell shoes online. Shoe stores are closed. So maybe podiatrists should be selling shoes through their list. There's all different ways that you can pivot. And by the way, all these people need designs and new marketing to show that to their people.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. There's 3 kinds of CEOs, especially right now. There's the kind that is totally terrified and they're like, oh my God, the world is over and I'm just going to close up shop and quit. Fine. That's your decision. I'm not that person. You're not that person. I don't understand that mentality, but there's a lot of people like that. So be it. Second kind of person is the one that's ignoring reality. That's like, oh, it's not really a pandemic. It's not really going to affect me or my, you know, and I'm just going to keep business as normal. I think that's also a mistake. But the third kind is exactly what you said, which is the kind that will take the whatever it is and make a change, pivot, look for the opportunity. And that's really what you are, certainly what I am, and certainly what I'm talking to most of my clients about. And even if they're not necessarily that today, we need them to be like that. Otherwise, you're right. They're going to get left in the dust and they're just going to die and they're going to be like the dinosaurs. We're going to be talking about them. And that's opportunity for everybody else because there will be life after this in some form or another. And you and I will be here to continue marketing and continue to help those companies.
Let's pray that is the case.
That's right. All right, Johnathan. Well, anything else that you want to say?
No, I think you said it very eloquently, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to explain and share our story. And obviously, if you like what you've heard, and if you resonate with a potential need, we'd be honored to earn and earn your respect in your business.
And so how should they do that? Just go to penji.co?
Penji.co, yeah, penji.co, and you can learn everything else from there.
Okay, so that's what everybody needs to do. Go check them out. Johnathan, thank you so much for joining us on the World of Marketing. We should be getting this out probably next week. I wish you the best of luck and look forward to working with you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.